Hey there, my name's Goreflow, and today I'll be sharing with you the Movement Elves deck, which I brought to 2600 this season. It's a really strong list, and I think it has a very nice balance of tempo, engine power, and control. This video will be broken down into 3 parts, 2 games followed by a deck analysis at the end. If you want to skip ahead to any part, feel free to use the timestamps in the description. There is also a text guide for this deck on Gwent, so you can also find the link to that in the description below, and I think it would serve as a good complement to this video. I hope you find this guide useful. I'll see you again at the end of the video. Thanks. Another lockdown. All right.
Keep a stiff neck.
We get blue coin this time. That's actually good, I think. Mouse Capet, thank you for the follow. Welcome. We could Pyrotech first. It's actually not a bad line, I don't think. It's actually a pretty good line, in my opinion. I don't think we need both rebukes round 1. It's a pretty good hand. Yeah, 4 out of 6 movement engines. We have the Oneiromancy for, I guess, Justice. He locks this. So, which movement engine do we really want to Crystal Skull the most? Is it the Matron? I think it's the Matron. The reasoning is he could like lock these 3, and then even if we protect this, it won't get any value if none of the other movement engines stick. The Cat Witcher can be played around with armor and playing on 1 row. The Matron, on the other hand, although maybe I should delay, make him keep locking. I like keeping the Matron alive because it also protects our units from Joust. But I'm pretty sure we're going to rebuke a Master of Disguise this turn. Oh, never mind. That's not what I expected.
That's right. I like fighting with style.
I was really hoping to set up a Circle of Life. I didn't get lucky. Circle of Life, that one, though. We have another chance. I'm gonna Dolbothon a Sentry next because it's good. It's working. I don't think this is the lockdown we are familiar with.
Never sit from the master's table. Never.
Believe to me, thank you for the follow. Welcome. I see a win in our future, boys. As soon as we force this round, we have Oneiromancy to help complete our elf combo. Making 4 points per turn passively. He can't keep going, I don't think. Sideburns, thanks for the follow. Welcome. This is him getting out his thinning before he's going to pass, I think. Set up this guy in case we want to go Bowman next to kill it. Or is it this one? He's not playing any deeper anyway. Or is he? He is. Okay. We might even go Justice here if he keeps the pressure on. I'm not really sure. I'm getting mixed signals from the opponent in terms of does he want to commit to this round or no. But the shorter the round 2, the better for us. So I'm happy with it, and we know that we're winning because we have Justice. This is just desperation. I think he knows that he's gonna lose if he doesn't lose the round, or he doesn't win the round. We're gonna be ending up. We're gonna play 9 cards and win down a card to this round. I'm pretty sure. Not much he can do from here.
We'll put Mahakam boots to Imperial asses.
If he keeps going, I actually might pass and just say, I want to see all 10 of your cards if he doesn't get ahead of us here. What did he invo? He invoed a Matron. Yeah, I think his last 2 cards are maybe Usurper and Ball, or maybe Roderick. One of those. 2 out of 3 of those. Give me some elves. Oh man, this hand, it could be slightly improved. Here we go. All right, this is what I've been waiting for. Maybe I should write the stats in now that I played 4 cards in round 2 and 2-0'd. All right. Yeah, this is perfect. Perfect. Yep. We back row this. We're going to Oneiromancy for the Verno, and then Yavin and win forever. We could also Oneiromancy for Heatwave. He might try to defend with Ball. I don't know. That's a little awkward. A little awkward. I think if we see a Masquerade Ball, I think we're probably going to play into it because we're really in a good position to do so. Even though, you know, usually you pass when you see the Masquerade Ball. This is probably Roderick to try to find the ball. No, he's still, okay. Okay, good game.
Keep a stiff neck.
Carapace. I've only played Carapace once with this deck, and I won. It was because he was okay with letting me win round 1 down 2, and I took a 9v10 round 3 and won. I don't think we can expect our opponent to do something like that at this MMR, though. Pyrotech is useful for helping to set up damage against consume engines. Really are missing the muscle that we need to win this round. With only 2 movement engines, we're in trouble.
A wee hint. Dunny jiggleless.
Squirrel the Saris could have been the difference. No. That would have put me 1 point ahead of the opponent, and then he had another card, and I don't think that his other card was worth less than 1 point. So really wouldn't have made any difference at all. Plus, to Squirrel the Saris, we would have had to commit to a round 2 and lose card advantage, and I don't think that was a winning line. Okay, well, Cat Witcher here. Should I Cat Witcher? So this needs 5 damage to remove. This is going to need 5 damage after this to remove. We can't protect both of them. If we could protect one, we'd prefer to protect the Cat Witcher, because Sentry doesn't do anything without the Cat Witcher. Hold this to hopefully help us deal with like a Slizzard or something. I mean, in a hypothetical bleed round 2. Yeah, that's the line I'm going to take next time, I think, because the long round is apparently unfavored. Why did I think I was playing against V? I'm playing against Carapace, which is Kelly. I need to be cognizant of that. Don't mix those two up. Also, Protector is dead this round. This isn't doing much for us right now. We pretty much have to win round 1, but we have no way to deal with the Nithral, so what can we do? If you can't win this round, I don't know. There is a way. I can Verno. I can kill it with like Verno Yavin if I make the Pyrotech work. No. There's one way. We Dolethon a Bowman this, and he doesn't boost it, and then we Pyrotech it into another Bowman. That's the only thing I can see. But I always see him pacting it this turn. That's our winning line in this losing situation. Okay. Here we go. Again, just like last time, we have 2 terrible targets and 1 good target. Can I get lucky? I don't deserve to hit this, I think, after I've already made a 1 in 3 shot. Do I have to do this? I could also, instead of taking this line, I could hold, I could go Verno. I guess if I miss, I'll do the Verno thing. I'll go Verno, and then I guess I can do 1 leader charge Yavin. Just get lucky, right? This is going to take a lot of the wind out of our sails in our round 2 when we try to bleed him. But I really don't see us winning a long round. We have no answer for the defender other than Heatwave, and then we have no answer for Kelly. Long round with more engines might have worked. You only had Matrons and Verno's Commando. Yeah, but we need the long engine, or we need the long round engines to help us in the whole round 1 situation. This is sort of telling me maybe he doesn't have a way to boost Nithral. I might not even have to spend leader charges here. Or I might. We will see. No Heatwave to answer this. Well, That's not good. But the defender being gone means we have a heat wave for the Kelly. So I don't really need anything except to secure round 1 now. And if I go down 2, it'll be like the same as that other game. I should win in a long round where I have an answer for Kaltalis. That's the thought, at least. I could do something non-committal like Squirrel here. And then I can Yavin. The Yavin brings out Ailerin. It's not good. I could do Squirrel and Forest Protector. Let's just throw down the Squirrel and see what he does. It's really not... I don't think this is committing much, so it's fine. He plays another card. We'll just probably pass. Give me my points, Mr. Streamer. Oh, from last game. I didn't redeem it yet. I think I need to get better at that. I lost, right? It was a loss against Klaus. Yeah, and I was telling you guys you should have voted loss because of the matchup. Thank you for reminding me. And unfortunately, it's too late to do a prediction for this game, I think. But we'll do one for the next. Alright, so he's going to keep going. Parasite. Without a Purify, it could be hard to win this game. If we heatwave the defender, then we can't take out the Kelly. Exactly. Exactly. Played 7 cards. Lost on... Wait a minute. Yeah, we played 7 cards and we lost on even, right? We had blue coin that game, right? This is a pretty good hand. We're missing... it's kind of a broken hand, but it's a pretty broken hand. We don't have enough elves for Feign Death, but we can't mulligan any of these cards. We need the Rebuke to bring the Forest Protector online. So I think I actually mulligan Feign Death here. To keep this. With the Matron being our dry pass card. You're welcome, Zaryashko. What's your favorite deck this season? I think this one might be my favorite. Last season was Discard Warriors, and this is like my favorite new deck using the way the Witcher cards this season.
Yield and save me some time.
Oh gosh, I have to choose whether to heatwave that or Kaltalis. Well, let's rebuke it and see what happens. It might be that we can swarm the board. We might be able to swarm the board so late that Kaltalis can't really get value, though. I think I Justice here, and then we heatwave it next turn. Alright, I see your deck review redemption. Best. I'll check it out after this game.
You've done it now. Hi-ho, hi-ho.
The question is, what do we do if he Kellys right now? I don't want him to have so much card advantage where he can play Kelly and... Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? Like, what if I heatwave this now, though? Like, what is he gonna do? It kind of sucks. I think I have to heatwave the Siri Dash, though. And then his Keltullus is going to kill my Mahakam Volunteers, and then he can play unitless. But if we never play any units, he can't play units. So we could do some discard stuff and then maybe go for like a full leader Yavin last. But we're not bringing out Aileron then. Should I have Heatwave last turn? Maybe I should have. Then he could have just passed though. But maybe that would have been better. I think I'm going to have to part with Protector Rebuke. Did he discard? He discarded an Andrega Warrior. So what am I supposed to do? I play a Matron here. Yeah? Do I play the Matron? I think I do. And then if he passes, then I can Forest Protector, and then he still has a Heatwave for my scenario, which is not good. But if he doesn't get his Heatwave, or he mulligans it, then... oh gosh. Yavin and Sentry are our last two elves. It's going to be really tricky. He just wants a short round with Ozril. Leader fodder. I don't know if I can see a way we can win if we start using our leader now. I know where you're going with that. Maybe next turn I might do one. But we're going to need our leader. We need to rely heavily on our leader to bring out Aileron because we don't have Vernosio anymore. Okay, so we just protect or rebuke, right? We don't have a circle, do we? No, we protect or rebuke. That gets us ahead. 5 deals 5, and then this dies. So we're going to be 6-4. So we're down a card, but we have 6 points of carryover over him. And potentially a Feign Death we can get to go through. I mean, the Heatwave is going to be the monkey wrench there. So we ended up playing 5 cards, winning down a card, going to a 4-card final round. Ooh. All right. Hand... I mean, can the hand be better? Yeah, the circle. I don't like the reactive Circle of Life. I'd prefer to get like a Matron or a Catwitcher or something. Even a Pyrotech over this. Sigfridos, thanks for the follow. Welcome. I'll keep that. Heck yes, I will keep that. Anticipating a Heatwave, we would lead with the Sentry in that case, and then go into our Catwitcher next. Yep. Full leader now? What cards does he even have left? He has Ozril, and he has a bunch of boosts and such. Maybe some removals. Might be best to just guarantee the Aileron here. Spliffed, thanks for the follow, welcome. Guarantee the Aileron here. We might not want to go Yavin next. We might want to go Catwitcher, so don't give him a chance to prevent Aileron. We're still pretty competitive. Even how poorly the first part of the game went, we're very competitive here. He has Lacerate. If he has Lacerate, he wins. I'm okay with that. I've made my peace with him having Lacerate. It would fit in the deck, though, but not if you're running Nithral, I don't think. Nithral is where the Lacerate provisions would go. Nithral is like because the other cards like Beast and Apiary and Phantom are sort of set in stone. Okay, he's like, I'm going to play unitless, and I say, okay, no problem, you play unitless. Where is he more likely to go? If he has like a pact, maybe he has a pact and don't know why he's playing unitless when I have Heatwave. If he has a pact and like an A-Rush left, he's going to have to play Ozral on the, back row? Consume a 9. So I want my Cat Witcher to be hitting the back row next turn, which means I want it to hit the front row this turn.
Yeah, I worked with it. It's better than working with humans.
A Yigurn. He could certainly leverage his double last say to get a Yigurn through, and then we have to rely on the Cat Witcher. Okay, we get Yavin value. That's really good. Is this gonna get us a win, though? He can play around the Cat Witcher, but the good thing is if he Yigurns, he can't... I mean, it means that the Ozral is not going to be huge this round. I don't know. This could be a win. What can beat us here? 10-point Ozral, 3-point leader, that's 13. He needs 16 on top of that. Yigurn goes through. So what does he have? How can he do it? Ozral for 10 plus leader. He doesn't win. And we missed 0 golds this game. Awesome. Really glad we pulled a win out of that one. It was not looking great towards the beginning. So this deck actually runs 16 target cards. It's pretty balanced in that respect. You can't really play a 4P without sacrificing one of your target cards. And by target cards, I'm referring to, of course, cards with more than 4 provisions that are not tutors or summons. So we're talking about cards like Feign Death, but not Oneiromancy. And we'll basically go down the list until we hit our 4Ps. So starting at the top, we have Feign Death is the first one. Verno is the second. Forest Protector is the third. Heatwave is the fourth. Justice is the fifth. We don't count Ailerin because she's summoned. Yavin is the sixth. Rebukes are the 7th and 8th. Circles of Life are the 9th and 10th. Sentries are the 11th and 12th. We don't count the Volunteers, again, because they're summoned. Matrons are the 13th and 14th. And finally, Cat Witchers are the 15th and 16th cards that we would play in an optimal game. And of course, we're not counting the Volunteers because they are going to be pulled by Novigradian Justice. So in terms of the top 16 distribution, this is what I would call a balanced deck. It has a very balanced distribution among the top 16. It's not top heavy in that you're going to be playing a lot of 4Ps per game. In fact, there's really only 3 or 5 4Ps that you could ever play per game. That's just the 2 Pyrotechs, the Squirrel, and the Bowman. So let's talk a little bit about the proactivity, and then we'll get into the general game plan. This deck has quite a few proactive plays. Pyrotechs are really good proactively because that they can set up order damage, and you can combo them with some of your nature cards to deal with high priority targets. Other than that, they help your Novigradian Justice from bricking, because this card can obviously run into problems. If you draw the Volunteers into hand, you can't tutor them both at the same time. You've still got the Pyrotechs as a backup option. And this deck actually aims to try to win round 1 using Pyrotechs if you go first, but other than that, you generally want to try to establish your Cat Witchers, Matrons, and Dolbothana Sentries. These movement engines synergize extremely well with one another. They have huge point potential, and a lot of the time you can bully your opponent out of round 1 with just these 6 cards alone, and maybe a little help with some of your tempo cards, which I'll get into in a second. So let's just talk about the general strategy. What's the general game plan for this deck? Of course, it'll differ based off of your opponent, but for the most part, we win round 1 with our movement engines, During this time, if we need to, we can play cards like Novigradian Justice, pulling the Volunteers. We can play maybe even Forest Protector. But what we really want to try to hold on to are our Feign Death, Renoziel, and Yavin. These 3 cards are a killer combination. And when you play them together in round 2, you can set up one of the most devastating bleeds in the game. So after we win our round 1, ideally, you'd go into a round 2, you'd lead with Feign Death. You could go Leader Charges plus Yavin on the back row. If you draw a Doblathon of Bowman, you could also play that on the back row. And what you end up doing is spawning a whole ton of Elven Deadeyes on your back row. And that's going to let your Yavin get really good value if you end up doing it before Yavin. Even if you do it after Yavin, this has the potential to spawn 6 Elven Deadeyes. And once you have 6 Elven Deadeyes on the board, Renoziel can get slammed on the front row and then deal 2 damage 6 times for a total of 12 damage on top of a 5 power body for a 17-point play. During this time, Aileron comes out as well. I did the math on this a while ago. I don't have an exact number, but you should be getting somewhere around 40 or so points in 3 cards with tons and tons of removal value that you can use to remove your opponent's engines as they try to combat this bleed. A lot of the time, this kind of strategy is going to lead you into a 2-0 situation, or you're going to bleed your opponent so hard that they'll be crippled and won't be able to defeat you in round 3. Other than that, what kind of tall punish does this deck offer? Because as we all know, there are decks like V running around on ladder that can be incredibly difficult to deal with if you don't run tall punish. Obviously, we have a Heat Wave, which is the big tall punish in today's meta. But aside from that, Yavin actually offers pretty decent tall punish capabilities. I think that you could reasonably expect Yavin to cap out at 9 damage. Or maybe we should say 8. Because one of the spaces on your row is most likely going to be occupied by the Feign Death, right? So you'll have a Feign Death, you'll have 7 other elves, and then the last elf on the row would be Yavin, dealing 8 damage. 8 damage, I think that's kind of within the range of a tall punish. So we have one serious tall punish and one kind of okay tall punish. In terms of tutoring and thinning, this deck thins 1 time with Oneiromancy. Oneiromancy is only 1 net thin, remember, because while it thins 2 cards from your deck, it puts 1 copy of Oneiromancy in your deck. So we have 2 minus 1, net 1. We have the Justice pulling 2 Volunteers. That's 2 more thinning. An Aileron, and that's our 4th thinning. And I don't think we have any more. So 4th thinning. It's not a lot of thinning. It's not a little thinning. I think it's right in the middle. It's a healthy amount of thinning. Not too much, not too little. It's pretty decent. I could actually offer some statistics here and tell you guys how often that I draw my golds with this deck. So I'm just pulling up the matchup spreadsheet I keep, and I can look and I can say that on average, I miss 0.75 golds per game. So you could just look at that as I will miss 1 gold for 3 games on average, and then the 4th game I would draw all my golds. Of course, there's going to be outliers where you miss 2 or 3 golds, and those are going to sway the average, but hopefully that puts 0.75 into your perspective. 0.75 of a card can be kind of hard to conceptualize sometimes, I think. So we talked about tutors and thinning, we talked about tall punish. Let's take a little bit of a look at the synergy here. And this is also a good time, I think, to talk about the subject of Gezras and Gaetan. These are 2 of the cards which are kind of some of the most powerful, I don't know, powerful, but like probably some of the most powerful cards offered to Scoia'tael with the Way of the Witcher expansion. Gezras and Gaetan being really powerful cards that support the movement archetype, right? Lots of people are trying to fit these into the decks where they're running these movement engines. I ended up cutting them. And I think the reason is that this deck already does what it does so well. It doesn't need Gezras and Gaetan. What it needs is more control. That's why I ended up going for the Forest Protector, Heat Wave, etc. We have an Oneiromancy for consistency. When you look at it, there's not really one card here I would like to cut to fit Gezras or Gaetan. I think that everything here does its job really well, and these cards wouldn't really be adding anything to the deck. If we take a quick peek at the kind of, I guess the top end, I'll go through and I'll talk a little bit about the synergies here. We have Feign Death. Of course, Feign Death needs 2 elves to support it. Do we run enough elves to support Feign Death? Yes, we do. We have Vernosiel. We have Yavin. We're not going to count Aileron because this card would summon itself after 5 elves have been established. But we have Yavin, Vernosiel. We have 2 sentries. We have 2 bowmen. So that gives us a total of 6 elves to proc the Feign Death. I think that's definitely a healthy amount. In the optimal game, we would use Yavin and Verno, and then these bowmens are kind of like our backup, and the sentries really aren't there to work with the Feign Death. They're there to help these other movement engines out, but sure, they definitely are backup in case you don't draw bowmen or your gold elves. Oneiromancy is the deck's only tutor, and it helps the consistency a ton. I definitely wouldn't be seeing a 0.75 average miss golds if we didn't run this. Vernosiel is really good. You can adapt your game plan based off of if you need more elves, or if you already have enough elves, you could play her on the front row to get that really big Elven Deadeye bonus. Forest Protector, I think, is a great fit for this deck. It offers that really nice extra level of control and value that I think a lot of movement decks can lack if they opt to go the Gezras route instead. We have Rebukes and Circles of Life for the Forest Protector, so that you're not going to be running into the same problems you would run into if you were, say, only running 2 Rebukes to support your Protector. You have plenty of natures to get this card online. Really shouldn't be a problem. Heat Wave is Heat Wave. It's a tech. Works on its own. Justice doesn't synergize with anything. It's just such a good card. Every Scoia'tael deck runs it for good reason. It's a 13-point play. Bins by 2. I mean, what more could you want? Aileron, this is part of your really big scenario. Vernosiel, Yavin combo. This adds 5 points onto that pile of points that you're already producing. Really good when the Aileron comes out in round 2 when you're playing that combo, and you can 2-0 the opponent. Yavin has really great synergy with Vernosiel, which can put 3 elves on the deck, or excuse me, on the row on her own. We're running, of course, Deadeye Ambush to help support this kind of elf package we have here. So Deadeye Ambush can add 3 elves to the row for Yavin. You're really not going to be seeing too much synergy between the sentries and the bowmen. You don't really want to play the bowmen, and the sentries are, again, to work with movement stuff. But, I mean, there have been times when my Yavin has found extra value from these. There's a light synergy there. We talked about the Rebukes and the Circles of Life. These are just standard, staple, good natures for the Forest Protector. The Sentries, Matrons, and Catwitcher all work together really well. The Volunteers get summoned by the Justice. And now we're down to the 4Ps. We talked about the Pyrotechs. Squirrel is a great card to have. I think in any non-devotion list. Of course, it is really great at dealing with Echo cards. We're seeing a lot of Echo cards these days. You can also banish opponents' Ygern for their Ozrel. You can banish Ceres. There's all kinds of nice stuff. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to talk about for this list. Brought it to 2600 this season. I think it's really powerful, really great, and I hope that the games in this video offer you a little bit of insight about how to play it, and how you're going to sequence your cards and what you can expect with this list. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Take care. Goreflow out. Catch me on twitch.tv/Goreflow. I might cut that last part. You can check this out live on twitch.tv/Goreflow. There's a link in the description. See you next time.